Hello, everybody. I'm back. So it's been quite a few weeks since the last time I recorded for YouTube, um, and so I was kind of wondering what I could do as a reaction to come back with. Um, and as I was kind of just spending time on my own, I looked up um, SB19's second single, "Go Up," on Wikipedia. I didn't read any lyrics, didn't read anything, but as I was reading it. I felt really inspired by the individual members' takes on what going up meant, like who they were going up for, what they were going up for. I thought as well the kind of the historical context of Go Up, following how Tilaluha had went at the time. Um, I think it works really well as a nice song to come back to, um, uh, as it shows kind of just the willingness to try again, and not give up, which I really like. Um, so yeah, I know we're going in a different direction sonically with this song. I know obviously Tulaluha was a ballad. Um, it had that very K-drama-esque, Korean culture-inspired music video. And with Go Up, I believe that they've gone in a sound more familiar to those of us who know newer songs. I'm really looking forward to checking this out. Before we get into this, some housekeeping. I bet you haven't missed this. This is a reaction video. This is not the original content. This is not a substitute for the original content. Pause warning, because as a reaction, I will be pausing to give thoughts. Some people ask, why don't you give your thoughts, at the end of the video? One, because if I don't, I will forget what I want to say. And two, if I don't pause, it will become just me watching the original content and effectively just taking the original content, which is not what this video is for. Please go and support the original content, especially if that's what you want to watch. But if you want to see my reaction, then please stick around and let's get into this. 3, 2, 1. I like that icon. Yeah, we gonna go up. Okay, I know we're already getting into this. I know we're only getting into this, but immediately from the first few seconds of the song, you immediately feel, or at least I immediately feel, like invigorated, and kind of upbeat, and I feel like this is just sonically already, it comes in such a way that says like, we can do more than the ballad. You didn't like the ballad? We can do something else. And it almost like sonically tells people like, pay attention to us, which I really like. I'll try not to pause too early like that, but just the way it came in. I also like the click track. Yeah, we gonna go up. I like the little vocal ad lip in the background. Oh my god, they're babies! I forgot. I forgot that they were babies. I forgot that they were babies. Oh. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, we gonna go up. I love that you can still see their confidence and their talent already. Okay, I just wanted to say first of all, I really like the fact that we've started with Ken, and I, I obviously hearing his music now and hearing his kind of voice now, the fact that like this song effectively starts with his higher register is such a shock to me. Um, for those of you that know, I've reacted to Philippe Ken's album, and obviously on that he has a completely different use of his voice than here. But it just surprises me, I think, because I am so used to hearing the lower registers of his voice. Um, I love how professional they are. We're only 37 seconds in, and I'm sorry, I'm already pausing a bunch. We're already 37 seconds in. But I love how already, if you were to watch this, you wouldn't have any idea of the disappointment that they felt or the struggle that they felt with, say, Tilaluha. You wouldn't see that because they're so professional, they're so well put together, and they work well off of each other so well. And in a way that their personalities still shine through. That they're so focused on their performance takes and stuff in the music video, and even in the song itself, that you can't see that disappointment that they probably were feeling, or that anxiety or worry that they were probably feeling with how they felt Tilaluha had kind of gone. This first watch, I think I'm gonna have to watch this twice, as I am struggling a little bit to go with lyrics and the music video as well. I really wanted to record today, but I think I might have to record twice. Just maybe instead we'll go to a lyric video after this, just so that I can give more appreciation to lyrics. I will be commenting where I can, but I might not be picking everything up so far. But I did see a lyric about stars shining, and obviously the implication of that. Obviously, looking at them now is quite amazing. Also, look how small they all look. I know I said this earlier. Look how small they all look. I really love that it's not quite silver. It's like a purpley gray on Stell. It's it's so funny seeing how far they've come. Um, um, I was gonna say as well, like yeah, their confidence is amazing, and the amount of love that they have put into into themselves, really, to come back after Teleluha and kind of go, we're not done yet, because obviously they did plan on maybe not getting back together, or staying together rather. I'm glad they did, and I'm sure everyone, all 18 are as well. Sa dilim walang makakapigil. Itong aking pinapangako, hinding-hindi susuko. Kahit pa ako'y mabigo, yeah, make me. You know I'm ready. Yeah, I believe it. Test me. Yeah, we gonna go up. Ibibigay ko ang aking puso sa pag-abot na pangarap dito. Handa kong harapin ang lahat, yeah. Kahit pa imposible, yeah, we gonna go up. Okay, I want to pause. I really like the the chorus is interesting. Um, I like it lyrically, but musically, it's very interesting. There's a very restrained kind of feeling to it. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a negative way, but what I do mean is um, there could be a tendency maybe for the chorus um, to be quite maybe loud, maybe even faster paced, but it's actually quite subdued. And I think the subdued kind of mood of this of the chorus, um, in comparison to what it could, they could have easily have made it really loud and bombastic and as I said, fast paced. But because it is restrained, it gives weight to the lyric. There is a lyric, I will give my heart and my all. It gives a certainty to me to this lyric because just because you give everything, it doesn't mean that you will necessarily succeed. Um, you can put in all of your effort and fail at the first hurdle, fail at the second hurdle, and you might, they say success is failing 9 times and getting up 10. But that might be your reality if there may not be that 10th time. And so musically, it feels like a good balance of kind of that kind of uncertainty in the fact that yes, I will give my all, but um, but that's not guaranteed, to kind of a musical foundation that almost suggests like, yes, all of this hard work and all of my passion for this is enough. Does that make sense? I think I don't know if that was the intent when the song was made, but I feel like musically it creates um, an interesting foundation musically. I really like how this sounds. I imagine when this came out, if people weren't paying attention during Tulaluha, and obviously I remember like seeing clips of like live streams and stuff, where I think less than 10 people were watching, to to where they are now, um, and I imagine that if they weren't paying attention during Tulaluha, that they probably very much were after this. Um, and then obviously, more and more people have slowly discovered the group. Um, I still can't get over how small they look. Like, apart from Justin, all of the members are older than me. I think Justin's a year younger than me. But all of the other members are older than me. But seeing them on this, I'm like, oh, babies. I want to listen to this chorus again. What I like about this part, just actually before we go back into the chorus, Josh's line here, it sounds so interesting because you can hear the signature Josh sound. However, it sounds, because he's younger, it sounds a lot more boyish, but it's there. It's that kind of innate thing that this is Josh. However, because it sounds boyish, it's a little bit more subdued, a little bit. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I think as Josh has kind of come into his own, and especially for what going up means for him, regarding his childhood and things like that, it's it feels like as he's gotten more confident, that more jaw, and obviously as he's gotten older, but as he's kind of found his power, um, his tone has come out a lot more, and I think that's quite beautiful. That he's really found his voice. Um,
Yeah, we gonna go up. Ibibigay ko ang aking puso.
yeah, it's so interesting, the space
Pangarap
musically behind the vocals here.
akong harapin ang lahat, yeah. Kahit pa imposible. Yeah, we gonna go up.
I'm really liking these ad libs, like these vocal samples.
Yeah, yeah, we gonna go up.
I'm loving the transitions are really cool too.
Kahit ilang beses pang matumba. Yeah, we gonna go up. Nangarap ng bukas mga mata, yeah.
Now this is what I'm used to from Ken. Wait, hang on. I walked with sorry.
Nang may bubog sa
Oof. That's a beautiful that's a beautiful metaphor for struggle. Walk, because ow, first of all, imagine pieces of glass stuck in your foot, effectively forcing you to stay where you are. You know, you might have to sit down, you might have to stop. That metaphor of very much of adversity and being forced to not be able to move forward and kept in the same place. That's a really... I dreamt with my eyes open as well as a lyric. I guess when you have such a powerful dream that you want to make real, of course you see everything. Even even in your kind of your waking life, of course you see everything in that kind of that lens of your dream. Because obviously, in a way, everything that you do has to, has to forward you. But even then, again, when you think about the lyric about broken glass in the foot kind of thing, walking with broken glasses in my feet, there's still also that idea of movement and being stuck somewhere, because obviously when you're dreaming, you're asleep, you're stuck in one place, because you're laid down, and so it's very interesting following up, because obviously it's two ways of being stuck and seeing something ahead of you. However, a dream is a lot more positive, whereas obviously suggesting that you've got glass stuck in your foot is a quite negative, a negative way of showing struggles, and struggles being negative. It makes sense. I really like this second verse so far. It's seeing Tiny Ken. I'm gonna call him Tiny Ken. It's so funny. I love those little clips of the recording there. Ooh, I like that. I'm ready. Oh, sorry, no, I need to hear that again. I like this though. I also realized success is in my blood, I'm positive. That pun, I don't know, I'm assuming it's intentional, but blood, positive, negative blood types. That's really clever. Okay, sorry. I need to hear that. I'm ready, all in my head again. It's so satisfying. It tickles like my like ah. That's a pretty shot. love the layering of Justin's voice there. That was so smooth. It started off, I think, with Justin's voice, and then I think they started layering Stell's in, and then allowed Stell's voice to take over. That is really clever. Hang on.
Kahit pa imposible, yeah, we gonna go up. Kahit anong mangyari, ako ay tatakbo.
I like this synth sound.
Sa liwanag na tanging ninanais.
Yeah, I think that's when it changes.
Turing ko ay parang huli. Yeah, yeah. Ikong galaw sa liwa sa
Oh, come on.
rumaraga sa
Oh, no. We're going back.
Ikong galaw sa liwa sa ilog na rumaraga sa
That is so satisfying.
Bumangato ta naman kayo diretso pababa na delikado sa
I love that. The idea that they're a force of nature. The use of the almost like there's a metaphor of like nature versus the unnatural, the man-made there. Because obviously you could argue like they're people not accepting them with their debut is almost like a parallel to that. And the idea that it doesn't matter like what you say or what you do because you're going down anyway. This river's going to flood its banks and it's going to wash over you and you can't do nothing about it. I love that. I love that. That rolled R. Ooh, that was nice. What I love about that is that moment allows Stell to have that high note moment. But obviously, with it not being a ballad, it being an electro kind of electro pop sounding song, you have to approach that high note differently. Because with a ballad, you've got a lot of space in the mix, and so usually, like in a ballad, you'll have like one or two instruments and then the vocal line. Obviously, with this, because it's produced in this way, there's not that space. And what I like about that is having that high note and the way it's mixed gives that kind of money note moment, where you can say, oh, wow, that's a really, ooh, look at that guy. Especially after that amazing rap from Josh. You can kind of go, ooh, Josh, ooh, Stell. But because of the way it's mixed, you have this unity between the note and the production in the background. In ballads, and the reason I bring up ballads is because you have that very clear contrast between the one or two instruments in the background and the vocal line, is you might even find in a ballad during that high note that the piano or the instrumentation fits out. Whereas here, while it kind of does that, with the go up, while it kind of does that, the production is still very present in a way that it wouldn't be if it was a ballad, and so you'd have this risk, I think, of that high note fighting for its place if you tried to separate it in the same way as you would a ballad. And what they've done that I think is really nice in the production here, and I'm going to assume shout out to Rad Kids for that. But what I think they've done really nicely is they've given the vocal enough separation to where you can hear it and you can appreciate it, but they've brought it into the mix and into the production enough as well to where it's not fighting and trying to take attention, if that makes sense. And what I kind of mean by that is it's not jarring to hear it. If that makes sense. Again, when you have a ballad, you have that clear contrast between the two elements of instrumentation and and vocal line. And I think the way that they've done it here, creating not a full kind of like harmonious mix, but bringing the elements together, allows that money note, allows that interesting vocal from Stell, but in a way that kind of it doesn't feel out of place for the song, which I like, because you don't want to, especially in a group song, you don't want to you want to show each other's personalities, but you don't want to be making it like, this is all about me, this is all about, you don't want any one member to seem more important than the others, because they're not more important than the others. They're all, we're all here for the members. And so I just really, really like how that's mixed. Josh's rap is really, really good. And I think, again, like I said earlier, with the tone of Josh's voice, you kind of hear it subdued. I think raps like this hint at what is to come. I think even like with all of the members so far, you can hear the potential. And I know a lot of people say that like when people haven't reached their potential, but obviously the way the guys are, the way the SB19 is, they're always constantly working to improve. When they did that concert recently, I think they did a show or a concert recently, and there were audio issues. It would be very easy for them to go and yell at the audio technician or the behind the scenes people, and instead they turned around and said, we're going to work harder to come back and do a better show. So they're always working to improve. And I think, again, when I say potential here, you obviously hear them and you go, oh, they're talented, but you almost know that they can do so much more and that they will do so much more. And obviously I'm very privileged in that I am looking at where they are now, and obviously I still think they can go to incredible heights, even higher than they are. But just looking at where we are now compared to here, and you can see that potential, and now how it's really come to the surface, and I really, really love that. And I really, there's a part of me that's like, oh, I'm so proud. Like, they don't know me, I don't know them personally, but I'm like, oh, I'm so proud. I really like this. I think they handled this genre change very well as well.
Yeah, we gon' nowhere but up, nowhere but up. ibibigay ko ang aking puso sa pagabot na pangarap dito. Handa kong harapin ang lahat, yeah. Wala nang imposible. Yeah, we gonna go up.
You can see their love for performance. Okay.
Ilang beses pang matuba. Yeah, we gonna go up.
Before I talk about anything else song related, that orange jacket on Pablo, also with the red shirt. Is it red? Hang on. It is red. Okay, sorry. Sorry. I couldn't tell if it was the lens flare that was making the shirt red. But that contrast here, the contrast there, I really like the colors there. I think this was a really, really, really well done second single. And I think it shows I think it's very clever what they've done. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything before I kind of talk about the song. No, okay. I don't think it's gonna be, nope. Okay. So I think it's really interesting the way that they chose to do this, because we had Tulaluha, which had a very, very heavy storyline, to the point that you didn't see the members at all. If I'm remembering rightly, it was literally just story. So there was so I can kind of understand it. I'm not justifying people's lukewarm kind of reaction to Tilaluha. I'm not justifying it this way, but I could understand why when people saw the music video for that, not feeling or not starting a relationship. I say relationship, don't take that literally. A connection, shall we say, between a viewer, listener, and the group, because obviously there was no face. You know, there was no moment where you could see each other metaphorically, um, and so there was almost like a wall between um, the group and kind of us as listeners and an audience. Um, with this, I think they very much chose, even from, and I'm looking at this opening shot right now, even from this opening shot, they chose, I think, very deliberate. Obviously, music videos have to be deliberate, but very deliberate choices of locations and settings um, and shots in order to bring down that wall that had maybe been unintentionally created by Tilaluha's music video. Not just because maybe, you know, they thought this might be the last chance kind of thing, but because they did want it to work out. I think when you look at like the interspersed recording clips, and their positioning in the music video is very deliberate. You have moments of choreo, so you can see the hard work that they've put into choreo. You can see how fluid their movements are, how synchronized their movements are, how well they work as a group. And then you intersperse these production clips, these recording clips, and you go, and it brings this kind of thing of feeling of, oh wow, they do everything themselves. They record themselves. They write for themselves. They, you know, because Pablo is Rad Kids with Josue, you know, they do all of these things. The choice to show the recording process, you know, fictionalized or real, I don't know. I don't know if that's what they actually recorded that. But if it's fictionalized, it gives this feeling of intimacy, this feeling of closeness with the audience. It shows that like it shows a level of humbleness and hard work and determination, because it's like we're doing this in our bedroom. Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of shots where the members were at places that looked like they were at home in their bedroom. It was very much it's the music video equivalent of, you know, when people say Steve Jobs started Apple in his garage. It's that feeling of starting from nothing and building themselves up on their own shoulders, kind of thing. I really, really enjoyed how simple this music video was in telling us what SB19 wants. You know, you start with this scene, and I'm looking at it right now, of the skyscrapers and the looking down. And the looking down is very intentional, because it's the idea. It's almost the shot that says, that's prophesizing what's to come. That eventually we're going to be so high that we look down, and not in a negative way, but just look down and see everything that we've achieved. You know, when you think about like this shot at the beginning, and again, I'm looking over now, you see all these little buildings, and obviously, as you'd look down from above, everything, not one single building matters by itself. Every single building has a role in how that view looks from above. In the same way that once they've reached their goals, each one of those buildings could easily represent a decision they made, a song they made, the hard work they put into it. You know, it's that idea of Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, I don't know if that was necessarily the intentional intention they were going for, but that idea very much comes through. Obviously, the shots on the rooftops very much give you this feeling of height, which works with the song, but also limitless. You know, you go into some of these shots and there's just open sky behind them. I'm just looking through as I talk to you guys. There's open sky, and there's almost a feeling with the interspersed clips of a group unleashed. So you have the two different types of the choreo, and even the choreo and the recording. The interior shots, both of the recording and the choreo, feel like yes, the kind of the practice and the building up, but also almost like a caged or like a secret, you know, like, look at what we've got. Like, you know, like that fairy tale person that has like the giant coat and they're like, look at what I've got inside my coat. It feels like that. And then you come to these shots where they're out. Sorry, you can't see this, but I'm looking at a shot where they're on the roof. And you know, there's the open sky behind them. There's, you know, it's this evoking space, evoking limitless space of where they can go, what they can do. It's like the roof is one. I'm sure this was not intentional, but the roof itself looks like a box. And what I mean by that is, you know, when you have a box of chocolates and, you know, they have maybe like there's multiple rows. When you take the lid off the box, it has that indent inside the box. That's what the rooftop kind of looks like to me. And it's like the idea of we've taken the lid off the secret, we've shown kind of who we are, and almost like we're not done yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've opened the box, but like when you think of like Pandora's box, the kind of myth of like Pandora's box is like everything comes out of Pandora's box, right? And obviously, I'm not saying SB19 is Pandora's box, but it's the same idea. Like everything explodes out into the world and comes out into the world. And in that kind of vein, it's almost like, look at how much we've got to show you. Look at everything that we can do. Look. You know, and it's almost like a metaphor in itself of our talent will take us where we need to go, and thus the sky is the limit, which I really, really like. I think what I am going to do is I'm going to listen to it again with a lyric video, so that will be coming up in just a second. I'm going to try and look at more lyrics, I think, without the visual distractions. So yeah, let's get into that. The video started playing and I was jump scared because I pressed pause. Okay, I'm going to assume that the person that made this lyric video forgot to put Ken's name in. It doesn't look like, from just the quick skim there, that they added it back in. It's so wild to see Pablo being called Sejin at this point. I obviously I remember that, but it's that weird. It's almost like as they've grown, he's become himself, if that makes sense. I still can't get over how young they look. I know, I know it's a thing. I know it's a thing, but okay.
Yeah, we gonna go up.
Also, I didn't notice before, but there is the cityscapes in the beginning of that, the sound of the city.
Yeah, we gonna go up.
I love that piano.
Tanging liwanag ang nakikita sa tuwing ipipikit aking mata. Bituin ko'y lalong nagniningning sa dilim walang makakapigil.
Okay, so this is why I wanted to kind of go to the lyrics a little bit here. Especially with the music video, there is this very intentional discussion visually of light in the music video. There's very little dark or shadow. Obviously, shadows naturally occur, but there's no intentional shadowing in any of the shots and stuff like that. And obviously, like the choreographed scenes and stuff that are inside, they've got the bright white background. I love this this almost like battle between the light and dark themes here, because obviously we know from how certain members felt about this song. I know that Pablo and Josh saw the act of going up for themselves and overcoming their pasts and their struggles in their past and stuff. I think Justin said he was going up for the fans, I think. I'm really sorry. I read the Wikipedia like 3 weeks ago. No, not 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And so I can't remember exactly what was said for each of the members, but I remember I remember specifically with Josh and Pablo that very real going up to expose their past and to fight their past and to beat their past and move forward effectively in a metaphorical kind of way. And even then you've got that contrast between good and bad, struggles and hardship and reaching your goals. And I really like the way that both Ken. Oh wait, there's Ken's name. Sorry, was that there the whole time? The whole time. Sorry, I had to. But I like that with the lyrics. There's a contrast. You know, I only see light even when I close my eyes. Obviously, I'm not quoting directly the lyrics. It's whenever. But when you close your eyes, you see darkness. Yet they're so hopeful for the future, and they're so hopeful for what they're going up for. That there's never a place where they're in the dark. There's no place that they're without that hope.
Ipikit aking mata. Bituin ko'y lalong nagniningning sa dilim wala.
Here, when Justin says about his light shining brighter, I think that's really just kind of that idea of the diamond in the rough. Maybe things to do with Tilaluha and the kind of lukewarm response to that. You know, there and even perhaps the kind of moment where they were kind of like, are we going to continue as a group? Are we going to put this dream to bed effectively? And then, you know, it's that idea of diamond in the rough. You know, you clean it up and it shines even brighter than it did before you found it. And it's that same idea. We're going to go back into the practice room, into the studio, the home studio, whatever, you know, wherever. And we're going to take our talent, which is the diamond in the rough, and we're going to polish it and polish it and polish it and polish it until it is shining so bright that you cannot ignore it. That even if you didn't enjoy Tilaluha the first time, and I'm sure there was people that didn't enjoy it, because obviously at this time this was the second single, so that's the kind of context. Even if you didn't like Tilaluha, or you didn't vibe with it at first, once you see like the talent that we have and the hard work that we put in, you're going to appreciate everything we do, including that which before you had kind of written off or didn't resonate with. And I love the it's a subtle way of explaining their struggles at the time by using the metaphor of darkness, because it tells you it tells you that there were struggles. It tells you that there were struggles, but it doesn't leave you time to dwell on them, time to worry about them. It just says, yes, we've had struggles. We're moving on, you know, shh, kind of thing.
Kakabigan, itong aking pinapanood.
I'm loving this pre-chorus.
Kahit ako'y mabigo, yeah, make me.
I love that. I will never give up even though I fall. Yeah, make me. It's it's almost like it's obviously it's a challenge to the people that didn't think they could do it, you know, didn't have high hopes for them. Where are you now? Sorry. But it's also that internal challenge to almost the voice within, you know, the doubtful voice that kind of says, oh, you can't do this, you should probably stop. It's that challenge of like, make me then. You think we can't do it? Make me, you know. And I think it says a lot when you think about how young the guys were at this point. That ability, that self-awareness first of all, but that ability to push against that doubt. It would be so easy for that voice in your head to say, we're not going to do this, and then they listen to it. You know, they were very close, you know, after Tilaluha, I think, with you know, potentially not staying together. I think I've got my history right. You guys are going to probably crucify me for misremembering, but I'm pretty sure that was the timeline, right? After Tilaluha, I think. Please let me know. I'm going to feel so bad if I've misremembered, but I still think the points apply. And I mean, if I've got the timeline wrong, it applies even more so, because like, yeah. But I'm going to go off of, if I've remembered this right, that timeline. So please correct me if I've misremembered. But I think it's an amazing skill to have, that you're able to hear that voice in your head and say no. You know, literally make me stop. It's an incredible confidence.
Hindi susuko, kahit ako'y mabigo, yeah, make me. You know I'm ready.
I love the way that, you know, I'm ready. There's like a slide. I don't know, it's the way it's mixed. It feels like the way it's mixed. It feels like it slides into the production. That it's a sliding note, but it slides into the production. If you hear it,
Yeah, make me. You know I'm ready.
there's like a synth texture in the background, and the way that the note moves, it's like it matches one of the one of the sounds in the background, and I don't know, it just makes it sound. I don't even know what the word is. But it gives this feeling to the texture of the song, feeling to the line as well.
We mabigo, yeah, make me. You know I'm ready. Come on and test me. Yeah, we gonna go up. Ibibigay ko ang aking puso sa pag-abot na pangarap dito. Handa kong harapin ang lahat, yeah. Kahit pa imposible. Yeah, we gonna go up.
Again, I talked about it in the music video portion of the video. I think the chorus is so simple, but it's simple because it's in the confidence of its own abilities and the members' own abilities. It knows what they could. It's almost like, if you imagine the song as a living thing, it knows what the guys can do, what they're capable of. And it's just a really, lyrically, it doesn't have to be too bold or too metaphorical. it's almost like the musical equivalent of putting their hearts on their sleeves and saying and holding out their hands to someone and saying, someone being like a surrogate for an audience here. Um, we've put so much work into ourselves. We have so much belief in ourselves. We can do it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be filled with metaphor and things like that. It's basically them standing before us in a metaphorical sense, and just bearing themselves to us, if that makes sense, bearing their talent, bearing their hard work, um, basically bearing everything that they hope to achieve. Again, I really like this the vocal samples in this song. I'm someone who really enjoys creative uses of vocal samples. I didn't even notice that. Oh, I did it too early. That's wild. I feel like that low vocal from Ken there, and here, I feel like that is that's the thing that when people look back over the career, they're like, that's the moment we should have been worried. And it's such like a subtle thing. This is when Ken's low voice really began.
kahit ilang beses pang magkumba, yeah, we gonna go up. Nangarap ng
I love how clean Pablo's voice is. They're obviously all of their voices are, but
bukpaan, yeah. Lahat ng iyong pagdududa, bakbak ko parang kay Garuda.
so here, and this is another reason, all of your doubts are my wings, just like Garuda's claws. Now, I don't know who or what Garuda is, or their claws, but I like the idea of taking something here negative, taking something negative here with something like doubts, and using them to forge wings. It's the idea. It's very much the idea of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and the idea of our experiences shaping us. Obviously the idea of wings obviously helps continue the theme of going up, rising, and eventually that idea again of the kind of the top down view of the city, the top down view of the world, looking down at all of your achievements and stuff like that. But it's that idea of turning something negative, your doubts can paralyze you at times, but turning what can be that paralytic force into something that moves you forward. It's such an inspiring thought. And I really enjoy. I think what I enjoy the most about it is, yes, it's a metaphor, but it's also continuing that honesty that we've kind of had in the chorus. Because in the kind of the first verse, there was the kind of admission of darkness and admission of maybe that representing doubts and things like that. But the first verse was very much almost like a mask, like it doesn't matter, we're gonna shine through, we're gonna move forward, everything's gonna be great. Here, by acknowledging doubts and mentioning them by name, it makes them real. And honestly, I feel like that strengthens the metaphor, because by turning them into almost like a tangible object, when Ken says about building wings from them, you can just imagine them building something. And they did build something. They spent countless hours dancing. I think, if I remember rightly, when I first got into reacting to SB19 way back when, I remember the guide that we watched. I think they said that the guide said that they spent like all night practicing. And so in that way of them forging their dance routines, forging their dance skills, so true is it also that in this way. They took those doubts, which you could argue, oh, I'm not dancing well enough, I'm not doing this well enough, forging them into wings, forging them into skills, and it's those skills that become the wings. Again, if someone would like to explain what Garuda's, and apologies if I'm mispronouncing that, Garuda's cause is, I may look it up myself, but just I'd love to make sure, and I'd love to hear like more about it from you guys, if you'd like to share. But yeah.
Lahat ng iyong pagdududa, bakbak ko parang kay Garuda, 'cause I'm gonna go up.
Oh, I didn't even. First of all, ra in the background. Oh, such a such a satisfying sound. But interesting that there the
Ko parang kay Garuda, 'cause I'm gonna go up.
you hear like you hear that I'm gonna go up, but there's like another sound, another almost like a whisper. And I love that because obviously we just talked about doubts, and it's almost like there's the voice that we hear, the main vocal line, from Ken's kind of real voice, his outward voice, and then there's the whisper, almost cementing what he said, because I feel like that's the representation of his doubts. And so in this case they're building a sound, the two vocals, tracks kind of are building a sound, just like Ken just said, they're building his wings, and I think that's a really cool musical kind of reference.
Naglaho ng takot sa puso, pagkabi ko'y malabo, tagumpay na
I love the use of the heart throughout this song, and I love the way that the confidence at this part of the song makes such sense to me in terms of like structure. It makes just hearing the way that the pre-chorus is building, it makes a lot of sense after Ken's verse, to build. You've got your wings, now we can start to ascend, now we can start to climb, because even when you think about, and this is just like an off-topic tangent, but when you think about flying, you have to have momentum to fly. You see birds will run and then they will fly. It's not just I flap my wings and I'm and so musically and structurally it makes a lot of sense. I really love as well here, and I think it's a great follow-up, the idea that the fear in their hearts vanishing. Obviously they've vanished because they've taken those doubts from their head and their heart, and they've put them into their practice, into their song, into their goals, really, moving forward. And so I'd almost argue it's not that they've vanished, they've been repurposed, and they've been used to make the members stronger. And again, it's that idea of you can't just strap wings on a person and they'll fly. There's a very real there's so much going on in like birds and things that allow them to fly, and it's the same thing here. SB19 have received the success that they have over time because they've put all that work behind the scenes into making those wings work, those metaphorical wings work, turning that fear into empowerment and into bettering themselves. And that is what has led them to where they are. It is not, and they have not allowed their fear to define them.
sa puso, pagkabi ko'y malabo, tagumpay na sa dugo, ko'y positive
I still love that pun.
ready.
I didn't notice that both of the song sorry, I didn't notice that both of the pre-choruses did that. With the panning. The panning is so good. It makes you feel overwhelmed, I think, and not in a negative way, but in that kind of idea of like taking over, especially with the fact that the lyric being "you know I'm ready." It's like I'm ready to take my spot. Pay attention to me. And so all you can do, it's almost like the idea of everything around you is them, um, and they're in their kind of their rightful place. Again, I love "Success is in my blood, I'm positive." It's such a clever, um, it's such a clever pun, um, and I'm assuming it's intentional. But what I love about this pre-chorus most of all is, yes, it accepts and takes in the fear and and makes it something good. But it's the use of the word "unlikely" that I really like, because it would be very easy for all of the hard work and everything that they've put into their crafts to end up turning them into arrogant people. It would be very easy. The use of the word "unlikely," it shows that because there's a very thin line between confidence and arrogance, and it shows that to me, it shows that they're firmly on confidence. We're confident in our abilities, but we're not so confident that it becomes arrogance, that we think we're owed things, that we will not work for things, that everything should just be handed to us on a silver platter. And it acknowledges that they still have things to improve on, things to do, things to accomplish. And I think it's a sign of a group that even back then had and has a long life. And the reason I said had is the idea of prophecy, the idea of fate, and things like that. It's that spark that you see in someone where you go, this person is going to last a long time. This group is going to last a long time. And it's because they have goals. The goals are not the end point for them. It's, they're going to constantly build. And that again perfectly works into that metaphor of the sky, because obviously you never really can reach the sky, from a metaphorical perspective. And so there's always something more to do, and something more to get better at and improve. And I think the signs have been here about how amazing this group is, and the success that they were. I don't use the word destiny lightly, but destined to have. I think it was visible here. If it was not seen by people in Tulaluha, I think it's something that is seen here. Hello?
Tagumpay na sa dugo, ko'y positibo. You know I'm ready.
I'm loving the like flowery synth sounds in the background. I think they're flowery.
Come on and test me. Yeah, we gonna go.
It almost sounds like not flowery. That was just the visual I had. It's almost like a scratchy sound in the background.
Ibibigay ko ang aking puso sa pag-abot na pangarap.
I'm also hearing the bass line.
Handa kong harapin ang lahat, yeah. Kahit paipos.
Ooh, that's a really subtle bass line. I can't. Dun, 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 dun.
Handa kong harapin ang lahat, yeah. Kahit paipos.
I love that I'm hearing more things.
Kahit anong mangyari, ako ay tatakbo patungo sa liwanag.
What I like about this middle eight section, I'm gonna start again, but what I like about this middle eight section is, while you still have quite a production in this section, it feels more ambient, and that ambience really kind of creates the feeling of empowerment in like your chest. Like you hear it, and maybe this is just my reaction, but you hear it and you just kind of go, it almost makes you want to run, like Justin's saying here. It almost makes you feel like you want to get out and do something and push and, fight for something. Um, it's like the musical equivalent of like a battle speech before a great war or something. Musically.
kahit anong mangyari ako ay tatakbo patungo sa liwanag na tanging ninanais ko bawat sandali turing ko ay parang huli yeah.
I love this bridge, and I think it hits me more if my timeline was right about the order of events with SB19. If they thought that this was their last chance to do something and continue their dream, that line from Stell, every moment I will treat as my last, hits harder because it could very much have been the end of SB19. They could have put this out. It could have done nothing. There could have been, and when I say nothing, it could have had some success, but it could have also had no success at all. And they could have been so demotivated. They could have, their doubts could have fallen, taken over them as groups. And we might not have had SB19 continue. I think that is what really, for me, makes this song stand out. On the surface of the song, if you just listened to it without paying attention to the lyrics like I am, especially if, like me, you don't know Tagalog, and so you don't know what's necessarily being said throughout the song, you could easily kind of go, "Oh, this is a pop song. This is simple. This is jammy." But I think there's so many levels and nuance to this song. And to write it off as just a pop song would be such a discredit. I feel like a lot of people, when they want to say something is simple or bad or something like that, they go, "It's a pop song." There's nothing wrong with a pop song. And I think this is the perfect vehicle for SB19 after Tilaluha to come back with, one, to show their depth of and breadth of ability and the way they can shift between genres, but also the way in which they can really send a message to people, but package it in a really pretty, nice sounding song. It's something that, again, like I said, you can listen to, and if you don't know what's being sung about, you can just be vibing, and that alone will bring you into the song, make you listen to it, make you likely to listen to it more than once, and that's how you create a successful song. From that, then you might have people who, and this goes for people who are fluent in Tagalog and in Filipino, and who maybe listened to it and maybe weren't paying attention to the lyrics. Then they listen to the lyrics and they're like, "Oh my god, this is actually really clever. It's simple, but it's really clever. I always find the smartest people are the people that can speak their truth and explain things and tell stories in the simplest of ways. There's a place for metaphor and big vision and high fantasy, linguistics and stuff like that. But it's the people that can do that and also tell it to you in the most simple ways that I feel like is the best, are the best kind of artists and people. And so I really love it. And obviously, again, when you think your career might be over, for them, their career, they've been working in dance practices and recording and training their singing and their rapping and stuff like that. They've been working at this for so long at this point. that for them their career has already started. They've been doing they've been working. But that idea of already a last hurrah, it amps you up. It creates an adrenaline rush, I think. And also, going back to the word unlikely, it grounds you because you don't take anything for granted. You appreciate everything that comes your way, but you don't take anything for granted. And I think that is so, so important. And I think it's a big reason why, not just their success, but why they're so respected. They could easily have been a group that was arrogant rather than confident, and could have potentially made the same success that they have reached at the time of my recording. Hopefully that has only increased as we as we go into the future. However, they could have easily got that with their arrogance, but people wouldn't speak so fondly as them. Forgive me, I can't remember how to pronounce his last name, but Ryan, who worked with Stell, wouldn't have worked with Stell. I fully believe, and I'm going to stand by this, if Stell was a horrible person, Ryan, who wrote the song for his solo debut, and I'm blanking on everything right now, so I'm really sorry, that performed with him live, that wouldn't have happened, because I think he would have seen Stell, and if Stell had been an arrogant or a rude person, he would have looked at him and said, yeah, he's talented, but I'm not working with him. He doesn't have any respect for the process. He doesn't have, he wouldn't have worked with him. And so I think it's the idea of when you're good, when you're a good person, good things come back to you. I think that's so true in SB19's situation. And it's, it's so authentic. It's so real. They're at their core, they're so good. And they respect, so they have so much respect, and that shines through. Again, I talked about this earlier, but this rap is so good. I love as well with this section. It almost feels like a wave musically. The way that the accompaniment follows him, it's almost like he's on the top of a wave surfing it, and because there's so much momentum pushing him forward, pushing the rap forward, pushing the song forward, and it's almost like the rap is creating, like when a wave rolls, it's like the rap is creating that, and so the music is the consequence of that rap, if that makes sense. And then we have this, and it happened earlier, but this note from Stell. Let's sound this up. I think it's this one. There's like I might be wrong, but there's like a reverb on top of the voice. That kind of it thins out the texture a little bit, and that's what I was saying earlier about fitting it into the production. It's that layer of thinness that the reverb adds to it, which allows it to blend so seamlessly, and allows everything to kind of work quite harmoniously together. I love that line, sorry, that I will give my heart and my all. Obviously, a lot of people will just say, I will give my all, but I like that idea that they've got so much to give that they'll give everything and more. It's amazing. Again, I love this little what would you call it? Drop,
We gonna go up.
maybe? Would you call it a drop? I don't know.
Stealing beses pa magkumba. Yeah, we gonna go up.
I think ending it as well with with this, it's like a mantra at this point. Ending it with this mantra of no matter how many times I'll fail, we're gonna go up. It's almost like a promise. By ending it with this, it creates a kind of finality to the song. But it also I think creates a certainty and an intent and a promise that this is how we will always be. And I think it's something that they've definitely proved as they've gone through their journey, and as they've grown, both in success but as well as artists. I definitely think I feel like Go Up. I feel like Go Up is a song that is honestly a promise to 18, but also to themselves. It's that kind of grounding that it's that kind of grounding that I think has always kept them respectful, kept them humble. And again, it's just a real marker of people who are good people. There's so many struggles and difficulties in the world, and they themselves have gone through struggles and difficulties in their own lives. And those things can turn a person into the worst person. That's how, it's going to sound corny to say that's how villains are formed, but it's true. All of that negativity, all that trauma, all that bad stuff can absolutely make you into a horrible person. It's the idea of, horrible makes horrible. Trauma makes trauma kind of thing. But they've remained, and obviously I say this, I'm from what we see of them, they've remained good people. They've been good people and they've remained good people. And that just makes me really happy. Final thoughts. I'm gonna try and refrain from my usual my usual spiel. I feel like there should be a drinking game with water of of how many times I can say I really really like this. I think this was a fantastic song, and I think it was a perfect way of proving people wrong. Avoiding typecasting of what genres we can do. Because it could have easily have made the expectation from Tilaluha that we just do ballads. We're a ballad cover group, and I think that's a thing that happens to a lot of groups. If they become known for one type of song, they only make one type of song, and a group could become one-dimensional with that. This song absolutely says like, no, we're not just the ballad guys. We're not just this one note kind of group. We have the potential and the ability to do so much more. It was a very enjoyable song. I'm trying to think my words very carefully because I don't want to say the phrase that I always say. It was a very enjoyable song. I don't think there's any way that you, even if you listen to it as a superficial pop song, which people do. Also, I said do, and I said I'm immature. Even if you listen to it just on the most superficial listening kind of way, someone puts it on the radio and you're just listening to it in the car and you're not paying attention to anything, you can enjoy this song. But I think that underestimates and undervalues just how much of the song is, and how
not superficial the song is. Yeah, this was a super enjoyable listen, and I'm really glad this is the first video I'm recording to come back to videos with. I'm glad that this is I intended to record this first, and I'm glad that I did, because I think this is the perfect. I think this sets the tone not just for SB19's future, but also in a cheesy way how I feel about coming back to videos now. It's inspiring me to move forward. I hope it inspires you as a song to move forward. This video is gonna be really long, and I'm really sorry about that. But thank you guys so much for watching. As I always say, this is not a substitute for the original content. Please go and support the original content on Spotify, on YouTube, on your favorite streaming platforms. I feel so old when I say that. I don't know why. But yeah, please go and support the original content. This is just a reaction. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me your comments in the comments below, as you always do. I think that's the thing I've missed most about not reacting, is speaking to you guys. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys in the next video. Bye everyone. Bye.